Let's look at some more complex questions on removing brackets. So we have to remember these rules when we're multiplying negative numbers. If we have a positive and a positive, that equals a positive. If we're multiplying, it's the same for dividing, multiplying and dividing. If we have a negative multiplied by a negative, we get a positive. And if we're multiplying a positive by a negative, the answer is negative. So we have to remember those rules. So let's look at question 1 and 2. So it's the same method when we're multiplying out brackets. We can just go, because we know there's an invisible times sign here, so this is negative 3 times x, negative 3 times 6. So we can go negative 3 times x, negative 3 times 6. So negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times 6 is going to be a minus 18, because a negative times a positive gives me a negative. So my answer is negative 3x minus 18. For question 2, I'm going to use the box method. I like the box method. So we are going to take the negative 5, put it out front, and we're going to go y plus 2. Now, negative 5 times a positive 1y gives me negative 5y, because we have a negative and a positive. We're going negative and a positive gives me a negative. And then negative 5 times 2, that's going to give me negative 10. So when we are writing this answer out, what we have, this is equal to negative 5y minus 10. And that is you removing the brackets. Now pause the video and try question 3 and 4. Okay, here are your solutions. So for question 3, it was negative 8x plus 16, because we went negative 8 times x is negative 8x. Then we did negative 8 times times negative 2. So negative 8 times negative 2, a negative, going back to our rules, negative times a negative is a positive. So that's my solution is a positive 16. If we look at question 4, I use the grid method. Again, it doesn't matter what method you use. I'm just showing both. So we're going negative 6x times 2x equals negative 12x squared. Remember, x times x gives me x squared. And then negative 6 times negative 7 gives me positive 42, and times by an x. So our answer is going to be negative 12x squared plus 42x. Let's look at a few more questions that get even a little bit more complex. We're going to look at question 1 and 3, and you can try 2 and 4. So question 1, we will just multiply the bracket out as we normally would. So I'm going to go 3 times x, which is 3x, 3 times 2, positive 6, and then we'll add the 4 on the end. Now we've multiplied or removed the brackets, we can collect like terms. So we know here that we have numbers and we can box. So circle the numbers and we'll box our letters. So we have 3x, add 6 plus 4 is going to give us 10. So our answer is 3x plus 10. If we look at question 3, this one's a little bit more tricky because there is a negative out here. So this is the same as taking this negative 3 and multiplying it by y. Negative 3 and multiplying it by 2. So we'll just write the 10 out on the side. All right, we'll leave it there for the end. So negative 3 times y is negative 3y. Negative 3 times 2 is going to give me negative 6. Now we can collect like terms. I'm going to circle my numbers, including the sign in front, and I'm going to box my letters. So we can do our letter negative 3y, and we have 10 minus 6. That gives me a positive 4. So my answer is negative 3y plus 4. Now, you can pause the video and try question 2 and 4. I want you to remember, though, that on question 4, there is an invisible 1 in front of that. Okay, looking at question 2. So we multiply out the 6. So 6 times a is 6a. 6 times negative 7 is negative 42. And we just write down the negative 3a at the end. Collect like terms, and you get 3a minus 42. Question 4. Remember, even though there's a negative sign, always has to be a number. So it'll be negative 1 if it's not shown. 1 is often a number that can be invisible, just like a time sign. So we're going to go negative 1 times x, which is negative x. Negative 1 times positive 4, which is negative 4. The 12 we just tacked on at the front. Collect my like terms. So I circled my numbers. 12 minus 4 is 8. And I put my negative x. You could also write this as negative x plus 8.